So we're going to touch on some deep emotions, maybe grief, maybe some sadness, some rage, some things that are unprocessed. Hi, I'm Veronica Lee. This is your weekly transformational forecast for the week of September 12th, 2022. There are lots of things going on. What I'm seeing is that we are in the process of really kind of opening up a lot of old wounds. Maybe you have a recent situation, and so there really is a recent grief, or there's something going on that's really shaken you. But what I'm seeing is that whatever's being triggered, unless it's a specific incident, this is triggering stuff that is pretty deep in there. So for example, if you have an old wound or an old grief or something that's unprocessed, then whatever is going on is more likely to touch that right now. It's more likely to bring it up, and then it may feel a little bit overwhelming. Here in Northern California, we have a huge fire in our area. Over 40,000 acres are burning, and the air quality today is up over 400. It's really bad. And there's that energy of our lungs being filled up, literally, but also energetically, with this smoke, right? Smoke from the fire, the rage. Oftentimes, the expression is going to be immediately, the first reaction is often this rage or this anger and this lashing out. And then what happens is, if we allow ourselves to move a little bit deeper and feel what's underneath that rage, we will often find these deeper feelings. And right now, specifically, it seems to be around grief of kind of what we've lost, but also what we can never have in these really deep ways. So for example, not just losing a loved one, but I've seen, for years now, the past year and a half or so, it's been a pretty powerful playing out of a mother wound for a lot of people. But for example, if your mother passed away, or if she hasn't, and you never got the kind of mothering you wanted, then there's going to be that sense of deep grief. If there is a loss that was near and dear to you, obviously there's going to be deep grief. But these other areas are really around wounds that never got fully recognized and or healed. And so that's what's coming up for us. And it's not coming up this week so that we can do our work this week and get it all done and package it up and be done with it, but more or less to say, oh, here it is again. And so if something else is triggering you and you want to kind of go to anger, then, maybe you do that as long as it's safe. And you go and explore what is inside of me, what's the real issue here, and feel into it. Let it drop into that lower part of your body, into the belly, where the wants and the desires of what life should be like are, or where the emotions are down in the second chakra, or even in that foundational piece of your root chakra of wanting to have yourself anchored in a way that feels safe in the world, right? So those are the types of things. Now, on a happier note, let's say something that's a little more positive, is that there are more and more elements that are available to us. So for example, there's Gabor Mate, who does a whole series. He does a beautiful work, but one of his videos is called The Wisdom of Trauma. So there are a lot more resources that are available to us now. There's a summit going on right now that I've signed up for, and I can't remember what it's called. It's free to just, learn about. It's about collective trauma. As well, there are some amazing therapists. More and more people are understanding grief a little bit more clearly. So there are resources, and it's up to us to be open to saying, yes, I need support through whatever I'm going through. The other thing I will say is that we're kind of in this place of not having to commit. So I just want to be a little bit more clear about that. When we are in a process of really doing a big transformation, like bringing through some, some healing on these deeper levels, then oftentimes there will be a beautiful little holding pattern that we get to be in. And it may feel frustrating to the human part of us that's like, I need to get this done, I don't have time to rest. But if we recognize that we're being, allowed this little sanctuary to do some work, then we can kind of step back. So there is this energy of time sort of holding space for us around what we're doing. So not to be a downer, but this is what's going on for many people. And I just want you to know that you are seen, and there are ways to be held, and that this too shall pass. All right, until next week.